Tren de Aragua, also known as TDA, is a ruthless Venezuelan street gang.
They are engaging in murder for hire,
playing a dominant role in human smuggling and drug trafficking.
And experts say migrant gang members are infiltrating communities pretty much all across the country.
Authorities say they're now running wild in major U.S. cities like New York, Chicago, and Miami.
And maybe forming alliances with gangs that are already established here.
After illegally coming over the border.
She was like an angel.
The brother of 𝗥𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧's accused killer is linked to this bloodthirsty crew.
He's here illegally, that he might not have been here had we had secure borders.
Some TDA members are also suspected of infiltrating the migrant camp at Riverton Park United Methodist Church in 𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗦𝗥𝗘𝗗, just a few miles away from Seattle. We've obtained this internal email sent out by Puget Sound Fire officials in April, warning first responders about this serious threat, saying firefighters are only allowed to enter church grounds if they are accompanied by 3 police units after what's being called increased activity.
I don't have any information about the gang threat as far as how serious it is.
Emergency crews are also being advised to wear ballistic vests. How did you get this intel?
There has been some discussions between firefighters in the street and members of 𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗦𝗥𝗘𝗗 police.
What about the gang connection? Pastor 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪😔 says she's aware of the new safety concerns, but did not want to go into details.
Is this a safe place for the other migrants as well?
Honestly, I had no idea.
Then there are the neighbors across the street.
They should have let us know.
This woman, who only goes by Darlene,
I've been notified of nothing,
says there are still numerous 911 calls to Riverton each week.
Puget Sound Fire's there as well.
Records show the church continues to drain the most police resources in the city for incidents like fights and stabbings, but it's unclear if any are related to TDA.
and the fire truck will come. And
Darlene says if the fire department is taking precautions, at the very least, neighbors should have also been told about any potential threats.
especially if there's gang members over there.
But 𝗥𝗘𝗏𝗧 City spokesperson Brad Harwood says they have received 0 confirmed reports of Tren de Aragua at the church and sent us a statement that reads in part, "Notifying neighbors based on rumors or speculation is inappropriate and irresponsible." And goes on to say the police escorts are available primarily due to the large number of individuals at the encampment.
A lot of people have moved and left.
However, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪😂 says there is no doubt illegal immigrants associated with TDA are now embedded.
Do you think some of the recent fights at Riverton are gang-related?
Oh, certainly.
𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗔
Oh, certainly.
Granby is an outreach worker and has helped migrants.
What do when you got 0 opportunities for work? You got 0 opportunities to advance yourself.
He says young men without anything to do all day at the camp are being actively recruited to join the gang.
What's happened is you've concentrated a bunch of people together and you've allowed them to begin to drift into the fringes of society.
First thing I wanted to show you was the safety notice. So you've got this area, 𝗥𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗪𝗧, 12 miles south of downtown Seattle. It's about a half an hour drive with minimal traffic. So this is the area where you've got a church. We saw that on the video. And that pastor, they've got like 300 people absolutely tapped out at this illegal immigrants camp. And you've got police coming, you've got fire department coming all the time. Local neighbors are just like, we can't deal with this. This church, this is the area from which the illegals have been shipped up to Seattle, and they've had the city hall deal where they, complained, even though this is nowhere near Seattle as far as, having resources pay. Well, you've got a church that said, hey, come to us, we'll give you housing. So now you've created this powder keg of opportunity for a big, worldwide gang out of Venezuela. And you've got a lot of people coming to the United States from Venezuela because of the violence that they're experiencing there now. So this is the safety notice that the fire department sent out internally that Jonathan Cho got a hold of. In December of 2023, a premise warning was placed on 3118 South 140th Street, 𝗥𝗘𝗏𝗧. So that's the church. This is the Riverton Park Church Refugee Camp. This was sent out due to concern from 𝗥𝗘𝗏𝗧 police regarding activity from some individuals hanging around the camp. This premise warning initiated a required police escort from Tukwila Police Department for any incident that the fire department is dispatched to at this address. Tukwila requires 3 police department units for an escort. Serious business. And you got to wear a bulletproof vest? Huh. Yeah. I mean, say what you want. Oh, I don't really know anything about that. Yeah, it could happen. What a bunch of nonsense. What a bunch of nonsense. If the fire department is being warned, then there's something going on. Because, the police department isn't going to say, oh, we heard there might be some Tren de Aragua in the area. We don't really. No, they're not going to base it just on a rumor. They have some kind of intel that leads them to believe, all right, fire guys going in there and gals going in there, be safe, right? We're going to have to go in with an escort. On April 4th, department members were informed by Tukwila Police Department that a prison gang known as Tren de Aragua, TDR, criminal has infiltrated the refugee camp. This appears to be an increase in activity since December. The premise warning is still in place and should work for automatic aid agencies as well. PSF, Puget Sound Fire, employees should don ballistic vests, stage for police to arrive and advise code 4, consider requesting a BC response, which I believe is battalion commander response. This is to go into a church camp with 300 illegals in it. It's just been this absolute dumpster fire, and so much stuff has gone on. Yeah, we saw the pastor there. The pastor, she doesn't want any bad PR. She's created this. You created a mess. Now you got to figure it out. How much in the way of taxpayer dollars are going towards all of this ridiculousness that didn't have to happen, but, we're a sanctuary city, therefore we're going to help. How's that going? You're bringing a vicious Venezuelan prison gang, a prison gang. Yeah, these guys are killers. These guys are straight up killers, and they're coming across the southern border because they can. That whole notion of, they're not bad hombres. They're mostly good, peaceful family members. Well, yeah, but when you have 10 million, 15 million pour across the border, you're going to have some bad hombres. These are those bad hombres, period. Anything else is just noise that you're hearing. Yeah, but what about the families with the little baby? All right, yeah, but what about that guy who's killed 4 people, back home? What about that guy? Yeah, he's going to have some collateral damage. What a bunch of nonsense, right? Members of a vicious Venezuelan gang are suspected of infiltrating an illegal immigrant camp in Washington state. Jose Ibarra, who's the prime suspect in the death of 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗓, has a brother who is linked to the gang. So we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got this story right here. Feds capture migrant gang members suspected of assaulting New York Police Department officers. They were in this gang. It's a known quantity that this Tren de Aragua is here, and they are operating. They're also operating in most major Northern American cities. And here's the question. Why wouldn't they be? You got 1 million guys, 1 million illegals running into the country that can't work. They need to sustain themselves somehow. They're sitting around doing zero, but now they've got something to do. They get recruited by the gang. Oh, we didn't see that one coming. Like, really? You want to be such a do-gooder, and you're literally bringing this kind of influence into the country. I've heard so many of you mention Seattle soy boys. Those are weak, blue-haired men who have lost their traditional masculinity. It's undeniable that such weakened masculinity in urban areas, it's had significant impacts. These feminized men are easier to control and less likely to push back, aligning with the societal shift that labels outspoken men as sexist or misogynist. Meanwhile, mainstream media demonizes traditional masculinity, calling it toxic. Research shows a dramatic decline in men's testosterone levels and physical strength over recent decades, influenced by sedentary lifestyle and poor diets. That's why I recommend Black Forest Testosterone with 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗥𝗘𝗏 supplement. This plant-based product promotes increased testosterone and muscle mass while reducing stress. I've personally experienced improved recovery times and overall energy levels. Dubbed the feminization killer, this supplement combines 2 potent natural testosterone boosters. It's an effective way to counteract soy boy syndrome. With Black Forest testosterone, I've seen noticeable improvements in energy, strength, and sleep quality. You too can experience these benefits with an exclusive buy 2, get 1 free offer available on their website. Black Forest Supplements is operated by patriots committed to resisting a system that aims to weaken us. By supporting this sponsor, you can help sustain this channel and reclaim robust health and confidence. Check out the special link below for this promotion. Thank you for your support. We're going to skip down to the good part here. And the notice stated, hey, you got to be careful when you go in. Pastor Jan Bullerjack, she is a virtue signaling sanctuary city kind of person, saying, she's opened up her church, but then she doesn't have the resources to run it. And she is both basically closed down for any new people coming in. You know what? If you're going to do that, you're going to get a lot of people coming to you. And that's what's happened. So, you can't save the world. And with as many people coming through the southern border right now, this whole thing is it's a terrible idea. She is aware of the safety concerns, but did not want to elaborate, even as neighbors say there are numerous 911 calls to Riverton each week. I've seen the statistics. I've read you the statistics. They're horrible. You've got all kinds of criminal activity going on here on the regular. People getting beat up, people getting stabbed, people getting robbed, people getting assaulted, women getting sexually assaulted, because that's what goes on in these encampments when you've got, all these people with not much to do, and they need a way to, number one, stave off boredom, and number two, provide a way to, make a little bit of money. Yeah, everybody's got to make that money, right? So Brad Harwood, a spokesperson for 𝗥𝗘𝗧𝗏, said the city has not obtained any confirmed reports of Tren de Aragua at the church. No, but do you need one when the cops say, hey, don a vest, and by the way, take one of the guys in blue or gals in blue with you when you go in there, right? And so this city employee claims that the police escorts are primarily due, I'm going to put this all in quotes, primarily due to the large number of individuals at the encampment. Well, if they were peaceful, this wouldn't be an issue, would it? You could have 500 people and it'd be fine. If you had 0, incidents, but instead you've got the opposite. And they know the gang's in there. They know the gang is in there. That's why they're doing this, to cover their rear end from a liability standpoint, right? And, somebody gets killed. Well, they didn't tell them. How long had you known about the gang being in the area? How long had they infiltrated? About a year. And you didn't say anything? You didn't tell anybody, hey, you might want to watch your backside when you go to the church illegal encampment. Yeah, not good, right? Not good. Maurice Graham Bay, an outreach worker who helped more illegal immigrants into area motels, told Jonathan Cho, there is no doubt that illegal immigrants associated with TDA are embedded at the encampment. It's just no question, right? No question. Just boom. And the police basically, and the fire department basically says, yeah, you don't want to go in there. It's dangerous. You got some killers in there. And city officials, no, it's mainly due because you got so many people living in there that it's just not safe. Yeah, right. Whatever. Graham Bay added that young men without anything to do all day at the encampment are being recruited into the gang. And why wouldn't they be? They are perfect candidates. They've got nothing to lose, right? They know there's a likelihood that they probably won't get to stay in the United States legally. They probably won't, the percentage of people that are having their citizenship go through, it's not a high, you've got to fill some pretty strict criteria in order to pass the whole immigration deal, right? You can't just say, it's been persecuted down there. I've been persecuted. It's not going to fly. You've got to have specific examples of how you're being persecuted. So like 3/4 of the people that have a date set for their immigration hearings, they Doesn't go any further. Boom, they're done. Yeah, you're going to need to go back to your country of origin. And they don't. And then they're just going to end up staying here. They're not being deported. So they're just going to end up staying here. And then you got all these people just running around. So some are probably being deported, the absolute worst of the worst. But, what you're seeing is just this whole deal where you're allowing this to happen. You are encouraging this to happen. And then folks are shocked when you've got one of the most vicious prison gangs out of Venezuela doing their crime syndication in your backyard. We were just a sanctuary city. We were thinking we're just helping some people out. Yeah, well, you remember when somebody that was high in office said that the bad hombres are going to come across the southern border? That's them. Oh, yeah. I think I do remember hearing that somewhere, but I didn't really believe them because I just thought only good people are coming across the border. What did you think would happen? Right? I mean, this just isn't that hard to figure out, folks. And now you got a bad boy gang coming in. Makes absolute sense to me. Because you know what? They've got new territory now. And they're going to link up with local gangs and they're going to run some stuff, right? Because Seattle defunded their police, don't have enough cops. This is just opening up an entire can of worms that for the gangs and for the illegals, why not? Why wouldn't you get into this? Why wouldn't you go down this route? A lot of them aren't going to get through their immigration hearings. They should be deported. But instead, they're going to skirt off somewhere and they're going to try and ply as much time in the United States as they can because going back home, it's kind of a no-go, right? Hey, where you been? Where you been? We missed you. Where's all your payments? You didn't pay us. Hey, good to have you back. Let's work on you, paying us, and may not be monetarily, right? Got some horrific stuff going on around the world, and these folks in the United States that virtue signal this whole sanctuary city thing. I get where they're coming from, but the reality is we can't save everybody, right? You can't. You need to start with saving people in the United States, saving our veterans. Go through this little process of taking care of your own and then work on the others. But with what's happened over the last 3.5 years, having just a wide open southern border, I mean, it's not shocking that this is happening, right? It's not shocking at all. So this is just further creep. We know Tren de Aragua has been in New York City and they're in a bunch of other big cities. This is kind of the first confirmation, Pacific Northwest, as far as north and west as Seattle. So make sure you subscribe because we're going to be talking about this one a bunch more because this is not the end of that story. Oh, Tren de Aragua's in Seattle. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. But on to the next story because that's not really going to go any further. No, you're going to have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to report on right here in News for Reasonable People. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next segment. Bye for now.